Victor Frankenstein entered the home of Captain Robert Walton one evening, disheveled. Victor then related the events that led to that point.
You may easily perceive, Captain Walton, that I have suffered great and unparalleled misfortunes. I had determined at one time that these misfortunes would die with me, but you have won me to alter my determination.
The Frankenstein family consisted of Victor, his mother, and his father. They eventually had other children, William being one, and adopted a daughter named Elizabeth. They also took in a servant named Justine. When Victor was 17 years old, his mother passed away.
I know the loss of my mother has shaken you, but I must go. Goodbye, Elizabeth. I must be off to study in Ingolstadt. I'm going to study natural philosophy.
Victor spent time studying and began to delve into the world of creation. He studied hard until he finally came upon his brilliant discovery of a way to create life. He began to work on his creature. He finally brings this monster to life. However, once he sees his creation, Victor feels incredibly disgusted and becomes ill for many months. Victor then receives a letter from his dear Elizabeth, explaining the death of his brother William, and how their friend Justine had been convicted of the murder. Clerval and Victor agreed to go home for his funeral.
He must be the murderer. I am responsible for William's death.
Victor was consumed with grief after this point, and continually left home to walk around. One day during a walk, he saw the monster he had created in the distance.
You look at me with disgust, and you are my creator. You owe me your time to listen to my story. Please come with me to my abode. Much time has left since we were together, and I have been confused since my creation, because I do not recall my birth or my uprising.
I stopped stealing their food then. I wanted to learn to communicate, so I listened to the lessons given to an immigrant girl about language. I became very lonely. I wanted to introduce myself to an old blind man, to see if he would accept my gentle nature and spread that message to the others. Unfortunately, the other villagers came back much too soon and ran me out of their home.
In my travels, I stumbled upon your brother, William, and upon learning his identity, I killed him with great force. Then I took the picture of your mother and placed it upon Justine. That is how I arrived here. Now, Creator, I compel you to do one thing. Make me a mate. She and I will go off in peace and leave humankind alone.
I can't. I won't.
Only with a mate can I live in peace without human mankind.
If that is your wish, be arranged.
Upon thinking over the monster's request, Victor and his father decided that Victor and Clerval should travel for 2 years. The two set off to Scotland, both eager at first, yet Victor felt an impending sense of urgency to break his ties to the monster.
Clerval, you should stay in this town. I'm going to explore the country for the time being. You can stay with a friend of mine.
Victor began work immediately, envisioning the second creature as she is being created. However, he began to have second thoughts as he imagined the two reproducing and populating the world. The guilt was too much to handle, so he destroyed his work. The monster saw as Victor did so, and swore revenge for the night of Victor's wedding. When he awoke the next morning, Victor was arrested for a murder that had occurred that night. He was taken to identify the body, which turned out to be that of Clerval. Victor then fell ill. His father had him freed by the courts. The two returned home so Victor may marry. On the eve of his wedding, Victor remembered the monster's threat.
Elizabeth, you should go to bed. It's been a long day.
Yes, dear. Rest well.
Now that Elizabeth is gone, I can wait for the monster to come get me, and she will be safe.
Victor then blamed himself for his young wife's death. He devoted the rest of his life to the pursuit of the monster. He followed the monster incessantly, until eventually running into Robert Walton and relating his story to him. Victor then passes away under the care of Robert Walton. The monster finally comes to grieve over the death of his reluctant creator.